Welcome back, folks. Today we're going to take a look at the AFERY AF-P210 power station. This power station puts out up to 2,400 watts and has a battery capacity of 2,048 watt hours, and it's equipped with a lithium iron phosphate LiPo 4 battery. In fast charge mode, it'll take 2 hours to go from 0 to 100%, and that's at 1,100 watt charging rate. This has a UPS power mode, which stands for uninterrupted power supply, and can switch within 10 milliseconds. It has one cigarette lighter / power port, 12 volts up to 10 amps. It has an XD60 port for 12 volts at up to 25 amps. More about that here shortly. It has two USB-A quick charge 3.0 ports at 18 watts. It has three USB-C ports that's rated at power delivery 20 watts, and one USB-C port power delivery 3.0 at 100 watts. This switch here turns all of these USB ports on and off. This switch up here turns these two ports on and off. And then over here on the side, you have your AC ports. There's the switch for turning the AC ports on and off. And it has 6 AC pure sine wave receptacles rated between 100 to 120 volts and up to 2,400 watts between all 6 of them. Over here on the other side, you've got a overload protection circuit breaker, and you have your charging ports for charging the power station. Down here is a port to connect your 120 volt AC wall charger cord. And over here is an XT90 port that you can use for car charging, solar panel charging. It's an XT90 port, so it can take up to 500 watts, up to 50 volts. I do have a spec sheet here that I want to show you. I'll put this up on the screen. It has all the specs of the front panel and product specs. I'll put that up on the screen. You can pause it if you want to read all of it. It comes with one carrying case, and in the carrying case it comes with the XT90 to MC4 charging cord. Of course, it comes with the AC wall outlet charging cord, and it has a warranty card inside. Now, if you wanted to use this XT cord for car charging, you can buy an adapter that has like battery cable clamps, and then it has MC4 connectors on the other end, so they would just plug right onto this cord. Or you could just cut this off and wire on your own clamps. Or you could buy a complete cord from an XT90, a separate cord altogether that has an XT90 on one end and battery clamps on the other, or even a cigarette lighter adapter. Just make sure when you're buying XT90 or XT60 plugs that you get the orientation correct. So that's a male inside there, and this is a female out here. So just make sure you get the orientation correct. It does come with a storage lid up on top. Nice for putting your charging cord in there when you're not using it. It does come with a cover also for keeping the elements off of it. And of course, a manual, which is fairly well written. And I'll be sure to place a link down below to the PDF version of this manual in case you'd like to see it for yourself. And of course, it does have a light which you can turn on with this switch here. And you can go through SOS modes and different flash patterns. And I always kind of thought originally that lights on the front of these power stations was kind of a gimmick. But when you take this thing camping with you in the middle of the night, that light's really handy. My opinion on these lights have really changed. That's nice to have. When you're fumbling around out here in the front trying to get stuff hooked up and with your power cords for your phone and your computer and your cameras or whatever, that light's pretty darn handy when you don't have a third hand. And then I was also going to touch on this XT90 port here. Or excuse me, this is an XT60 port, good for 25 amps at 12 volts. Nowadays, it seems like there's a lot of people building their own little camper trailers and teardrop trailers and little pull behind campers and whatnot. And instead of building an electrical system in these trailers from scratch, they're just buying these power stations and just kind of building these right into the trailer. And this is now your trailer power station. And that's pretty handy because you could power all of your 12-volt accessories in your camper trailer, like lighting or a stereo, a radio, anything 12 volts, kind of automotive related 12 volts that you would find in a camper can be powered from this right here, up to 25 amps. Of course, anything 110 volt related would need to be plugged into the 110 volt outlets, but that gives you 25 amps to power pretty much your entire camper trailer, depending on how big your trailer is. But that's pretty handy. I like that they're doing that. And of course, this is a big number, easy to read display. I like this display compared to some of the other ones I've got. The numbers on here are a lot larger, easier to read for these old eyes, and from a distance, it makes it pretty easy to read. And I'll just give you a full tour here. A big full spin around. You haven't seen the backside yet. And I've been using this now for a while. I've had this hooked up to a home oxygen concentrator here at my house for a family member who's uses home oxygen. And we have a lot of power outages in this part of the country. And believe it or not, I've had this now for a few weeks, and we have experienced a power outage, and the oxygen concentrator was plugged into here, and it didn't skip a beat. The power went out, and the concentrator kept going, along with the television and the cable TV box. So that person on oxygen, the power went out, and as far as they're concerned, everything was business as usual. They had their television, and they had their air, and everything was good to go. Let's give this thing a test. Okay, I've got a cheap Harbor Freight heat gun here that's about 750 watts on low, and about 1500 watts on high. So we'll start at low here. Oh, I got to turn the power on. Okay, so I'll start on low. Says it's drawn 628 watts. And I have 3 hours remaining if I was to let this run continuous. And let's switch it to high. So now you can see it's about 1240 watts. It would keep running for about 89 minutes at this load. Keep in mind, anytime you make heat with electricity, that's just a major load. That's what uses the most electricity. So a heat gun is an extreme example. If you were to plug in a laptop or a desktop computer or a lamp or a cable modem or a television or something, this thing would run for hours and hours and hours. So if you're in the market for a decent power station, this particular model can be purchased with or without solar panels. And if you connect solar panels to it, I guess you would refer to it as a solar generator. But either way, I like all of the USB ports on the front, all the different options. I like the XT60 25 amp output there for powering a camper trailer or a little RV. It's a pretty nice looking device. So if you're in the market for one of these, check out the AFERY portable power station, the AFP210. That's all I have for now. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.